Welcome to the podcast. Good to see you guys.
Or, well, see you if you're watching us on YouTube, or good to be with you guys if you're listening to us. Either way, it doesn't matter. We are back today, and we are talking about what about your work gets you up in the morning.
Yeah.
Because we've been thinking about this recently, and it's a good question to ask, I think, no matter what you do for your work, what gets you up in the morning. Because we've talked about this before, but in business and in work, you're not going to get to do that thing probably every day, that thing that gets you up in the morning. But what is the driving thing that does? There's probably still something in it that, is that thing that gets you up. And I thought I would use a couple examples of things because, as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about friends that we have that work in different sectors or own their own business and that kind of thing. And one of those, we happen to know a lot of different doctors or doctors in training here in the UK. And talking to a friend recently who was talking about how stressful things are and that kind of stuff, I literally said, what makes you want to still do that? How do you get up on those insane hours that you have, and how do you keep continuing it? Her answer may seem obvious, but to me, it was oh yeah, of course. She was I just really want to help people when they're struggling with their health. That makes sense. That would get me up in the morning if that was something I could deal with, but I'm not really good with, I'm better than you are with blood, but
well, that's true.
With some of those bodily functions and stuff like that, it wouldn't be the ideal career for me. But what is the thing that that gets you up? And this may look different in different seasons, depending what you're doing and what you're working on and stuff. But there's usually something, and it can get you through the hard seasons as well. So I'm going to ask you. Do you know I was going to put you on the spot?
Of course, you always put me on the spot.
What about your work is getting you up in the morning right now?
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now, I think the biggest thing for me right now that makes me excited about waking up and getting to work is actually the end user of the products that I'm working on, because most of them are going to be kids. And the idea that these kids are going to open up these books and see these fun illustrations that tell them about, that are a huge part of what's happening in the story and all that kind of stuff, to help them understand these big concepts, but also on their level, gets me up right now. The idea that these books will be in kids' hands all over the world, potentially, that will explain to them really fun and unique concepts, and hopefully will then in turn inspire them to do amazing things and to do unique things. I think at the moment that is really what's getting me out of bed to work on stuff. Just the idea that I'm creating something that could potentially inspire the next generation to step into something really fun and unique for themselves.
Are you going to ask me the question now?
So I'm going to put you on the spot, Maya. What's getting you out of bed right now to what's making you excited about working right now? Yes.
So just so you guys know, in our business that we have, Laurent Collective, I'm the one that does more of I do the business side of things, right? Mm-hmm. There's no other way to put that. And so there are some mornings that I know I'm waking up and yesterday I did month-end finances. Not my favorite thing in the world to do, but has to be done and that kind of thing. However, I think even in that, and then when I'm getting to do some writing or doing the more concepts for our greeting cards or things like that, I think the thing that is getting me up in the morning right now about that work is that in the end, like you were saying, the end user, we're making somebody smile or felt seen and felt loved. So whether that's somebody's giving them a card, whether that's somebody's, buying themselves a t-shirt that they've always wanted that phrase on, or a mug that they're going to wake up every morning and have a cup of coffee in, or something like that. It's the idea of, I almost this sounds really cheesy, but this is just how I am. I almost do picture who would buy that thing and why. We sold a ton of coloring pages for Valentine's Day, and it was so fun to think about all the kids that would be, the parents would be printing those and they'd be coloring those at Valentine's Day. I found that so fun every time one sold, to think about that. So that's the thing that's getting me up. I think one thing I thought I would touch on too, because I know we have some stay-at-home moms that listen and that kind of thing. And I have been in that phase in different times, like during maternity leave and that kind of thing. And I think I'm just going to be real. I found it hard to get up in the mornings because you're so tired anyways.
Yeah.
But I found it hard to get up in the mornings because I felt like I didn't have, I had gone from, especially when I first had Zane, I had gone from working, in the corporate world, and then I was at home. I was only at home for 6 weeks, but still 6 weeks is a long time to feel like, what am I doing here? And then when we had the other two, we had our own businesses and a nonprofit and all that, but I still was trying to take a break from those things. And so for me, I had to really think about this question, like, what gets you up? What about your work? Because it is work. What about your work gets you up in the morning? And for me, it was like picking something that was very sweet about those moments with the kids. So, when they're little and they're not smiling yet and stuff like that, it was like, like a snuggle, or how they would curl into my neck, or those kind of things. When they were older, it was some of the things that were much more... not to say that newborn stuff isn't fun, but like when they're interacting with you and stuff like that, it was like, I got to sit on the floor and like play with them, or whatever it was those kind of things. And that would get me through the hard stuff. Not always, because it still was very difficult and very challenging and that kind of thing. But asking yourself that too, even if you don't have like what traditional people would view as work and stuff, that is another way to look at it. I think the reason why we wanted to talk about like this question and just really put it out there for you guys is because we both have been really struggling, especially during the winter months, to get up in the morning. It's just a challenge. Some people, and you're actually struggling, and you normally don't struggle with morning hours. Yeah. You're normally like up here
I've
at
always
like 5.
been a morning person, but for some reason, for a while, it's a struggle to get out of bed at the moment. So, yeah.
And so I think that is I don't want to quote who it is because I can't remember her name. There is somebody that talks about like the countdown to 5. Mel Robbins might be her name. When you're in bed and you realize it's time to get out, the alarm has gone off, or however you wake up, that kind of thing is like counting down, just like when a rocket takes off, of like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out, like that kind of thing. But I think something I would add to that, because I do often do that I'm like, okay, because I'm not a morning person, is also adding like, what is the thing that is getting me out of bed? Yeah. Now, I think what's neat too is to think about, well, I said that very kind of general, more end user answer as my thing right now. Each day something is different as well. And so it may be like today, I knew we were recording podcasts. And so I was like, awesome. Like that gets me out of bed this morning because I'm excited to do this. So you could pick something each day that you know is coming. There's definitely going to be days that you're dreading things like, what was not fun was doing finances yesterday, but I got to listen to a bunch of stuff at the same time that I was doing the finances. And so that was something to look forward to. It could be that you're having a restful day and you can get up and think like, I'm looking forward to just having a cup of tea and reading a book or something like that. It doesn't always have to be work related. It can also flow into all different parts of life.
I always think too about the idea that if I do know that there are certain aspects of my day that I'm not looking forward to, like when I'm getting up, is thinking about how can I either get through those tasks or get through those to-dos in a sense, so I can get to that thing, or is there something that I can sprinkle in before I jump into some of that stuff that I really enjoy? So for me, sometimes if I know it's more of an admin heavy day where I'm doing certain things that aren't necessarily exciting and are giving me life at that moment, I might make sure that I wake up and have like a draw for 30 minutes to an hour or whatever, and know that is just for me and that's just for fun. So that helps me kind of get moving in a sense. And then, I don't know. So I always try to think about it in that sense. If there are certain things that during the day that I know aren't going to be as exciting and really looking forward to getting out of bed for those things, how can I sprinkle in things that do give me life, that might not take up a huge amount of time, but at least it's something that you can look forward to get you through that other stuff, in that sense. So.
It's interesting too. I think this goes for all seasons of life. Like our Zane is in this year where he is doing I think we've said this several times. We just need to do a podcast about it to explain it, but they're called GCSEs. It's a big exam year. A lot rides on it, that kind of thing. And we've had to talk to him a lot about the fact that, like, because he'll often wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I don't want to go to school. I mean, we all remember that as teenagers, but like, I don't want to go to school. I'm so done with this. I'm so over this, on and on and on. And the thing, it's funny, we kept saying to him, like, what's something you can look forward to today? So, you know, depending on the day, he has different things. Like on Fridays, he's part of a theater troupe, and he gets really excited about going to that in the evening. But now he's started drinking coffee, which is weird for us because we don't drink it. But he's been like, as he's going to bed at night, he's like, I don't want to go to school tomorrow. And he's like, but I get to have my cup of coffee before I go. Mm-hmm. And like, it's been interesting to hear him make these little switches. And it's small. It's a cup of coffee. I don't even know that it's like fancy
he enjoys coffee, it in the morning.
But he is up here and enjoying. He enjoys making it and everything like that. And he sits
always.
And, like,
it's funny. He really makes room for it now in the mornings.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't want to feel rushed in drinking the coffee.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so he is in a season where test taking. Some people might like it. For him, he does not like it. It is not fun for him. It was never fun for me. I don't think he liked it either, but and so he has found a little small something to help him get through this season, because the season's lasting for a while. It's going through June. He's not done with it yet. He has to get through it, and he does need to focus.
But he's closer to ending it than beginning it, so.
Mm-hmm. And this is even then, like when he comes home from school, he has to study for him. And so he then was like, hey, can you get me some decaf coffee? So that will be my thing, that I like make a cup of coffee and then like have that, and as I study, and that's my way of going into it. So again, it's like, what gets you up in the morning? Maybe little things in different seasons, because different seasons are really intense, different seasons are really hard, and those little things can be the thing that is what it is. Like this time of year, well, not right now, I feel like we get little hopes of spring and stuff, but like this time of year, something that can get me up though is like the fact that the trees are starting to bud in London, and like there's pink everywhere and white everywhere and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And even know that I'm going to see that walking to school.
Is it the daffodils that are starting to come up?
Yeah, the daffodils are coming up. Like all those different things are happening, and this time of year I love because of those things. And so it could be something like that for a season or whatever it may be. It's just kind of, I guess it's an encouragement to find something, no matter how small it is. Like I feel like a cup of coffee is so small, but
it is. I mean, but that is a great example. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be something earth-shattering.
I feel like we really went there for like ours. At first.
Yeah, I mean that was those were pretty like huge and like monumental things in some ways.
Lower a little bit.
They all don't have to be that.
No.
You know, like it definitely can be something simple. Like I really enjoy my cup of coffee in the morning. And I look forward to that every day, and that helps me get to the next point that maybe is not something I'm really looking forward to. Or maybe, you know, at least for us, we don't really commute very much anymore, and maybe you don't as much anymore, but like some people really look forward to that commute and that drive, that they could like have their quiet time. Maybe they're like, you know, listening to a book or whatever. Like, is it that, you know, what's really... Is it your space at your gym, you know, as you go and you work out and do things in the morning or afternoon or whatever? Like, yeah, what are those things that are really allowing you, I don't know, the energy and the hope that it's a good day and that you're excited about it and, you know, that kind of thing. So
we'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to like compile a little list of these, of what is the thing that gets you up and gets you excited for your work. Whatever work means to you. Like I said, like that means so many different things to so many different people, and so we'd love to hear that. You don't have to go as deep as I feel like we did at the beginning.
We went pretty hard. Sorry about
that. But also,
yeah.
Like I said, there are days that it is not about that for me. That it is about other things. You know, like I get to like I'm reading a book to the kids right now, and I get very excited about thinking about that. Oh, every evening I get to like read that to them this night.
Maybe mine could be just like I just enjoy getting up and I get to draw pictures. Like that's fun.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you or what it is that gets you up in the morning about work or about whatever you're facing that day. Because I mean, I can share that and we can all get some ideas for that too. Of thinking, like we said, like the cup of coffee seems simple, but it is really like a pretty cool thing to be thinking about too in a season that you're in. So yeah, we love so much when you guys share the podcast. I know it sounds weird to ask for you to rate and like the podcast, but it does help other people find us. No matter where you are listening on, if you're on YouTube and stuff, you can subscribe to our channel, and that helps us as well of just getting this stuff out there to inspire people more. So yeah, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.
See ya.